Hey guys, how you doing? It's April 8th, 2010. I want to get right into this article. It's called "Is Canada's Only Bullion Bank Vault Nearly Empty?" You guys are familiar, obviously, with the Andrew Maguire blowing the whistle on J.P. Morgan scenario or catastrophe, however you want to call it. Something else is happening in Canada. Apparently, I'll just get right into the article. In our last article, we detailed how silver short squeeze could be imminent due to the Andrew Maguire exposing how J.P. Morgan was able to manipulate down the price of silver on February 5th through naked short selling paper silver that doesn't physically exist. We also discussed how there could now be as much as a 100-to-1 leverage in terms of paper gold-silver that trades in comparison to the physical gold-silver backing it, meaning the banks are selling 100 times the silver that they actually have on paper. My recommendation would not get paper contracts in metals if that's what you're into, but they require that they have physical delivery mailed to you. There are now reports that Lenny Organ and his son Harvey Organ, who recently testified at the CFTC gold and silver position limits hearings, was able to enter a vault in Scotia-Macata, Canada's only bullion bank, and see that shockingly it contained roughly 60,000 ounces of silver and gold that he estimated as being worth approximately $100 million. Considering that the Royal Mint of Canada sold over $1 billion worth of gold in 2008 alone, and many purchasers choose the convenience of vault storage and a paper certificate over physical delivery. Okay, so they're onto this. Banks are onto this. People want banks to hold their physical, and it's understandable. I mean, we put ours in a safety deposit box, and this amount they put in a vault, but they're only holding 1/100th of the gold and silver that are actually sold out of paper contracts. The amount of gold stored in the vault appeared to Lenny to be exceptionally low. In June of 2007, Morgan Stanley agreed to pay $4.4 million to settle a class action lawsuit with brokerage clients who bought precious metals and paid storage fees, when in fact it was alleged that Morgan Stanley wasn't physically storing their gold or silver at all. It was just charging them a storage fee. NIA believes we may now have an epidemic of banks selling gold and silver they don't have. If this isn't exposed immediately, it could bring down the world's financial system. How do we Americans know that the purported U.S. gold reserves of 8,100 tons still exist in our vaults? The last audit of U.S. gold reserves was supposed to have taken place in 2005, but according to KPMG LLP, they only audit the Mint's fiscal year 2005 financial statements, and they never saw any physical gold or even went to Fort Knox. The last real audit of the U.S. gold reserves was clear back in 1954. Okay, in 1971, the U.S. government defaulted on its gold obligations when it ended the gold standard. Okay, because they couldn't pay their debtors their gold that they wanted. If the U.S. couldn't repay the gold it owed to foreigners and was forced to end the gold standard, it's hard for NIA to believe that our gold reserves actually exist. If a publicly traded company is forced to audit its balance sheets annually, it's absurd for the U.S. to have not conducted a true audit of its gold reserves in 56 years. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the precious metals market. If you're even going into that, there's a lot of manipulation going on. 100-to-1 paper contracts versus physical, and this article just came out the other day. And so if you do purchase metals, my recommendation would not be to purchase paper contracts, but to get physical delivery. And there's another quick article, if I can get to it. And also, you couple this article with the Andrew Maguire blowing the whistle on J.P. Morgan thing. I just things are going to happen, you know. And they did this. The manipulation's going on to prop up the dollar. I hope everybody realizes that, because the dollar is more likely worthless. It's lost all of its purchasing power, you know, in the last, well, since 1913. So, and this article here, hope I have time to read this one. It's a good article. It's a small one, and it's called IRS Chief, Buy Health Insurance or Lose Your Tax Refund. Individuals who don't purchase health insurance may lose their tax refunds, according to IRS Commissioner Doug Shulman. After acknowledging the recently passed health care bill limits the agency's options for enforcing individual mandate. Okay, so Shulman told reporters that most likely the way to penalize individuals that don't comply is by reducing or confiscating their tax refunds. Okay, he noted that the health care bill expressly forbids the agency from freezing bank accounts, seizing assets, or pursuing criminal charges, but when pressed about it, said the IRS would most likely use tax refund offsets to penalize those who don't comply with the mandate. Okay, and I believe that's why they hired 16,500 IRS thugs to come to your house and collect the debt. That's what they did. Anyway, guys, interesting times. Hope you have a good evening. Talk to you later.